Welcome back into the Motor Index, folks. Shane Van Gisbergen has 2 Cup Series wins. He might have a third one by the end of this weekend, and I don't know what to say about that, what that says about the playoff standings. We're going to get into all of that here today. We're going to talk about Bowman Gray returning for the Clash, and we'll talk about a preview heading into Sonoma next weekend. Let's start with Chicago. Obviously, SVG wins, puts him, I believe, 4th in the Cup Series standings. So, all right, but I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, he's won 2 Cup Series races this year. Sweeps the weekend there at Chicago, winning the Xfinity race as well. But I thought it was a pretty solid race, to be quite honest. I thought, there were points in this race I thought it was a little bit boring, but the strategy was fairly compelling, and it was not like SVG dominated this race by no means whatsoever. So that was nice. I will give this race credit that it did deliver as far as, it was a pretty entertaining race, all things considered. I would have liked to see a little more rain, and I know I'm saying that after asking for no rain heading into the Chicago street race, but I think a little sprinkling would have thrown a little bit of chaos into this race. That would have been interesting. But nonetheless, I am happy that we got to see a clean and dry Chicago street race. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought this race was fairly solid, all things considered. So, what was not solid was the race control missing the, was it Cody Ware? Was it Cody Ware? I think it was Cody Ware. Whoever smacked the wall there on that final lap, and then they didn't throw the caution until like the very last second that they had to, basically. It's like, what are we doing here, man? Like, you guys get paid to do this every week. All you have to do is watch the racetrack and act when something happens. And a freaking race car goes slamming into a tire barrier at well over 100 miles an hour, and you just sit there on your hands for 20 seconds. It's like, what are we doing? But I don't want to get on race control too much because we all know they're going to continue to make mistakes, and there's nothing we can do about it. So why waste the breath on it? Bubba versus Bowman. Yeah, I mean, we all saw it. Oh, well, let me rephrase that. We all did not see it, actually, until the replay, because of TNT, which we're going to get into TNT some more here later. I'm actually going to write that down. Did not have to talk about TNT written down here, but I think it's important because I am not thrilled with their coverage so far, and I think they're getting away with some things that Fox would not get away with, and they need to be called out. So, and I think missing that Bowman and Bubba wreck was a big no-no. And I get it. It was a big-time battle happening in real time, and it's hard to keep pace with something like that, but, I mean, come on. That is inexcusable to have it switch to that camera and then just stay there knowing what... I mean, I could tell that he had wrecked him by what I saw, but I wanted to see the full angle of what happened. And it took us like 20, 30 minutes to get that. So, whatever. I don't want to complain about that. But that Bubba and Bowman, I thought that was honestly going to come to blows, to be honest. I thought Bubba was going to be pissed, but because we didn't see it on TV, you didn't get the chance to actually see how it played out. And how it did actually play out was it was aggressive racing, and Bubba was putting some aggressive moves on Bowman in the turns leading up to that. And then when you watch what Bubba did there, just basically driving him basically driving in front of him, essentially going to put him in the wall if Bowman tries to avoid it. So, yeah, I really don't know what else Bowman was supposed to do there. So I feel a lot different about that now than I did in the moment. In the moment, I thought Bubba got screwed and was going to go punch Bowman in the face. In hindsight, I think cooler heads prevailed, but I don't think we've seen the last of this Bowman and Bubba beef yet. I think something eventually is going to come up there and boil over. I just, Alex Bowman, he's just this calm, cool, collected, same guy every time you hear him talk. Then you hear him when it comes to this Bubba situation, and it is just, I've never seen Bowman this fired up. Like, I've seen Bubba fired up plenty of times because he's just a fiery guy. But Bowman, he's a very even keeled, like normal SpongeBob type guy. Like, and so to see him all riled up, I'm like, wow, okay, what's going on here? It's funny. So, but yeah, so let's just get into some of our top finishers here. I really don't want to get into too much of the specifics of how this race played out. It was kind of just straightforward, even though it was fairly compelling. But SVG gets the win, obviously. Ty Gibbs coming in second. You know, that Ty Gibbs, man, he's really, really stacking up the solid finishes. And, you know, I can't say he's going to be in line for a win yet, but you start putting down more performances like that, certainly will, especially at these road courses. That's a thing. We got more road courses coming up, and he has been really good at the road courses. So we will see. Another guy who's good everywhere for the most part, maybe not in recent months, but we know can win at any type of racetrack, is Tyler Reddick, coming home third in Chicago. Yeah, I'm kind of forgetting how this race exactly played out with Reddick specifically. But, I mean, he's a road course guy. We know he's good on these road courses, so I'm not too surprised to see him up there. I'm more so surprised to see the speed for him and not Bubba. That's what's a little interesting about this race, but I feel like that's almost kind of been a trend going multiple weeks now because Reddick's been a little bit better recently, but Bubba has really not been, so I don't know. Speaking of surprising finisher here, Denny Hamlin in fourth. Wow. Love that for Denny. And I know Denny really loves that for himself because that is not a typical Denny Hamlin finish. At a road course, that is. Yeah, I mean, solid. It's really solid for Denny. Saw him on Twitter, really happy about that. And I actually wrote an article about him after that race, about him specifically. And he said, from what the quote said, he had pace. It wasn't like he strategized his way to that finish. Like, he had the pace to win. And maybe not win, but certainly, like, he didn't fluke or strategize his way into the fourth place. Like, he had the speed. So, good on them for figuring something out. So, coming home fifth, Kyle Busch. Never really felt like Kyle Busch was ever in the mix here. Still think that win is certain. I still think it's going to come. I still do. Whether that is a prior to the playoffs win or a end of 2025 win, I don't know. I don't know when that's coming. I just still think it's coming for Kyle Busch at some point. You just got to think. But solid finish nonetheless in the top five. Let's get to some of these quicker in the back half of the top 10. AJ Allmendinger, we all know how good Allmendinger is here. This should not be a shock. Ryan Preece, not a shock in terms of the season. He has been really good as far as the season goes as a whole. But as far as road courses are concerned, it's kind of surprising to see Preece up there in the top 10. But, you know, Ryan Preece is really showing how much speed he truly has this season. And I do think it's going to materialize in a win at some point, for sure. Alex Bowman, I'm not sure if something will materialize into a win for him, though I do think he's got some more good shots. And I think, you know, I don't know. I think I struggle with. I think if he does not get a win by the end of the year, I think we might be looking at Hocevar in the 48. We'll see. Austin Hill, 9th. Yeah, I mean, for a cup race, that's great for Austin Hill, for sure. That's what you would expect from him in Xfinity. Definitely not what you would expect in cup, but great result for Austin Hill there. Didn't really look too much into what happened there, but great stuff from him. And then rounding out the top 10's Ross Chastain. Not really surprised to see Ross up there. We knew Trackhouse was going to bring some good speed that week, so is what it is. Let's move on from Chicago, shall we? Bowman Gray getting the Clash back. All right, I guess. I mean, it worked. Don't get me wrong. It really did work. It was a great Clash this year. I will give them credit. I really did enjoy the Clash. But I want to take the Clash international, personally. I would have loved to see the Clash go to somewhere like Brazil, or, well, you can't do England and Silverstone, but I was thinking something like, Brazil. I think, and that's been mentioned a lot. Or Montreal is a little too north for that time of year. I just would have wanted to see them try something new internationally. Um, but I mean, Bowman Gray's great. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. And I guess while you might as well strike when the iron's hot, so I don't hate the move. But as far as what I would like to see the Clash long term, certainly moving around. But I want to see it be turned into an international thing because I think there's some things that they might be able to do as far as, especially with that time of the year, maybe the Middle East. Maybe you could look into some like Australia potentially. Um, South America is obviously for the most part pretty good at that time of year. Because that's the thing, is like you could say a lot of places, like I mentioned earlier, Silverstone or Spa, like just throwing out crazy European tracks. Um, the weather's not going to comply at the beginning of February. It's just not. So you got to find a place where the weather will comply, and I think those international locations I mentioned could potentially work. But we'll see. I mean, we have a lot of time between now and then. The point of the matter is they're striking while the iron's hot, and they're going back to Bowman Gray in 2026. So I guess let's just touch on some of the TNT stuff before we get into Sonoma. TNT, I don't know. I just think the juice is not there like it was for Prime. You can't compete with the no commercial or with the commercials versus no commercials. Um, I think the broadcast is like as far as like the commentating's fine. I mean, we knew that was going to be fine. We've known Adam Alexander, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte. I think I could even make the argument actually that the pit road reporters, like having Daniel Trotta, having what's that guy's name? I'm seeing this Adam Cavana, um, and even Mamba Smith getting in the mix. Like, I really like this pit road crew for TNT. That's the one thing I'll give them credit for. And it's not that any of the other networks didn't have good pit road reporters, but I feel like those people have brought a really good vibe to the pit road reporting. And I get that but that's like the one positive I'm able to pull here. Like, I mean, I guess they have a cool intro to the broadcast, but like, I think the ticker is pretty bland. It is transparent, which is not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's just bland. And you can't be missing all these moments and having lazy camera work, lazy transitions between your cameras. You can't be going. You gotta know when to time your commercials right if you're gonna do them. And yeah, I don't know. I've been unimpressed for sure. I think if this was Fox, I think Fox would be getting ripped apart. That's what I think. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Sonoma. All right, let's get into Sonoma. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of the similar story from Chicago, or maybe a little closer to something like a Coda. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do I think SVG is gonna get a third win? I don't think so. I think he'll contend for sure. I don't think he's going to contend for I don't think he'll win the race. I don't know. I'm not confident in seeing that happen again. 3 wins in this year for him be pretty bold. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's anything special with this race as far as strategy is concerned, or anything crazy as far as a new tire or anything. As to my knowledge, I could be missing something. Um, it just kind of seems like a whole lot of the same from the last few road courses, and especially the last week. So I'm not really getting too crazy as far as my predictions are concerned. But I do have a new winner, or it's not a new winner that from the season, but kind of somebody you don't think of at these road courses. I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe to win. I think that 19 car, that 19 team has looked great at Sonoma before. And I know it wasn't with Chase Briscoe in it, but Chase Briscoe was in a I don't remember if he was necessarily on strategy or what, but Chase Briscoe was towards the front of the field as the laps were winding down there in crunch time in Chicago. And now I don't know, like I said, I don't know how he got up front, but it's also just the qualifying pace that this team has set. Like, this team is lightning quick in qualifying. I just think he's going to be at the front of the field, and I think is going to be in contention to win. And my gut's just telling me Chase Briscoe. I don't know what it is, but that's who I'm going with. Contenders, SVG. We know this. Do I need to get any further? No. Alex Bowman, sneaky good road course guy. Kind of going to keep rehashing what I've said the last week because it's basically the same situation. I'll throw Kyle Larson into this mix just because of how good he has been for multiple different weekends here at Sonoma. I would be surprised if he's not in the mix, but the speed has been iffy recently for Larson. It's not that he can't compete, but it is not that perennial, how do we prevent this guy just from leading laps type speed. I don't know. We'll see. Tyler Reddick, finished third at Chicago. I'm not sure if he's ever won here at Sonoma, but he's also another one of these road course guys who you don't think of, but is always finishing at very worst in the top 10 or 5. So, at road courses, that is. And then my final two for here, Ross Chastain. I don't remember if he's ever won at Sonoma, but I know Trackhouse has for sure, and I have a feeling that they're going to have a lot of speed. So, Ross Chastain. And then finally, AJ Allmendinger. And, AJ Allmendinger is one I've kind of thought is going to get a win before the end of the regular season because of how many road courses there are. And obviously, the number of those opportunities is slowly shrinking. So we'll keep an eye on him. I think he'll be one to contend this week. So with that being said, I think that's all I've got for y'all today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy the races this weekend. Take care, y'all. God bless.